When you get used to cooking this, there is a smell. Just like when you're making a gravy, there's a certain smell to this that you...
It just smells burnt. But like a good burn.
But a good burn, like a roux burn.
Yeah,
right.
a roux burn.
So we're there. We're dark.
You do want it to smell burnt.
Yep.
Now we go to the broth from the beginning of the video.
Ooh. Dogs come running through. Again, dangerous, steam, hot, smoky. Hey, y'all get out of here. Get them out of here. Close that door.
Come on, let's go outside. Come on,
get out.
Outside. Come on, Rap. Come on, Pete.
That's normal every day with a dog. All right. When you put this whisk back down in the bottom of that, you're going to feel that black stuff that was on the bottom coming off, and it's going to create...
Come on, T. T, come here. Come here.
You're going to get a little darker, and you want that.
Come on, Rap.
So come up your sides of your pan, get all that goodness, all that stuff in there. If you look over in there, there's some of those onions and stuff that we seen earlier. I'm going to dig those out because I don't like them up in there because they actually do taste burnt. But there's your roux. It's ready to be have stuff added to it. And we're fixing to start adding. And if you don't have enough at this point, I mean, there's still some more juice left in that sausage and that other turkey that we got there. You can, I mean, go back with your bouillon cubes. Add a bouillon cube, and I can't remember the direction, but it's like a bouillon cube for a cup of water. You know, if you want to.
Did you even put any of those in there?
Hadn't yet.
Oh. You can look at the screen on this, by the way.
Oh, I can? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, screen. It's concentrating on my roux here. Right. Actually, not much to taste here right now. This is not great. We hadn't added any salt. We hadn't added much seasoning and all. But when everything comes together, that's the thing about the gumbo. It's when all of it comes together that it tastes a lot better. So at this point, just start adding your stuff back to it. So I mean, it no certain order that I go in. So I'm going back with the original vegetables that we had. So we cooked down all the sauteed vegetables. Get all that goodness.
Turkey.
We add our turkey in there. The next closest thing to me is the sausage, which had a little more of that juice in there, and a little more turkey.
Oh, wow.
And then again, remember, we're adding these fresh veggies back in there. It just adds another layer of flavor to it. You know, you get that freshness to it. Now this is going to cook, you know, at least an hour before you even touch and eat it. But some people let it cook all day. Everybody that is a true gumbo connoisseur is going to tell you that gumbo is always better the next day. All of that. We're going to drop a couple of bay leaves in there. Don't eat the bay leaves. Use them for seasoning. Dig them out. Don't munch on them. Let's go with 3. 3's a good number. I think we're going to go with a little more water in there. We're pretty thick, and it's thickening up pretty good, but come back. Just use one of those old bowls. Get some more of that goodness out of there. We'll drop those 4 bouillon cubes in there. This is kind of a preference thing. Also, how many people are you feeding? I mean, that's a lot of meat up in here. I can fill this pot up. Right now, there's me, Macy, and Crystal here right now. So there's,
how many people will the add 2 patty feed tomorrow? Oh yeah,
and we got plenty of gumbo to last 2 weeks.
Ian doesn't
Well,
What?
he don't like gumbo. I don't understand it.
He's your child and he doesn't like gumbo?
So, I don't know how much of this. I just put it in until it looks right.
I mean, a generous amount.
Yeah, a couple of tablespoons. So, this is really salty, so I use this as my salt and pepper. I do come back and I do add straight cayenne in there. Because I like cayenne. It is your typical Cajun seasoning, but you can't overdo it. Just because people call it spicy doesn't mean it's got to be so hot that it just burns your lips off. I'm not trying to do that, but I am trying to give it that Cajun flavor. So we're going to go with about a teaspoon, maybe a heaping teaspoon, whatever you want to call it there. And that is plenty in there because there's cayenne in that also. And this is Zatarain's. It's not as salty as what's the other one?
Tony's.
Tony's is really salty to me. Zatarain's is not quite as salty. And at this point, we're at the point where all we're doing is getting the flavor right. We're adding a little salt, a little pepper. All of our ingredients have been added except for salt and pepper. And I don't do a whole lot of black pepper here. Again, I'm cayenne pepper and I'm Creole seasoning. So I'm pretty much there, unless I want it a little bit thinner than that, which to me, that
looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good. I mean, that oil's going to settle out on top. That's just part of it. But when you reach in there and you're going to get a spoonful, you're going to get a spoonful of all of that. Now, as this cooks down, we'll come back later. We'll do it later. We'll piece that skin. These vegetables will. Let me get some vegetables. So you see the layers of vegetables. You see here, that's the clear vegetables we had earlier. That's the fresh ones we just put in. You see how bright green that is. That's some of that celery right there. You can see that the cells of it, the strings in it, right there and there. That will cook out. Give that an hour or so and let that cook out. The other thing people like to add to this is okra. I love okra in my gumbo. I don't have any okra right now. But one of the things about okra that people, it's slimy. Okra, when you put it into a gumbo, when you cook it down in a soup, you have to let it cook for at least an hour, okay? And it will cook out that sliminess on there. It's used as a thickener in gumbos. That's what it's that's not its purpose, but that's what they added it to it. So I think I may have some in the freezer. If I do, I'm going to let this start boiling and I'm going to add that to it. So when we come back later on, you may see the fact that we have added some okra in there and we're just going to continue to let it cook down. But at least when it's boiling and it's at boiling temperature, it's got to cook at least an hour. You're going to reach in there and pull it out. It's going to look like a big snot wad. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be eating on a big old snot wad. But you let it cook for an hour or over an hour, it just dissolves in there. You don't see it. You don't have it. You just have that flavor of the okra. I like it. Some people don't. Some people do. I do. So there's that. Anything else, Macy, that we missed?
We'll come back and show you how to make a bowl properly.
How
to properly make a bowl.
I'm going to put rice on. Not saying I cheat. I can cook rice on the stove like anybody, or not everybody can cook rice, but we've got a rice cooker. I'll clean up the kitchen and I'll make some rice. So we'll have rice and potato salad to go along with it.